Janice, are you there?
At your service, sir.
Enter the manosphere.
Of course. How can I assist you today?
Give me some of that dating foolishness.
Will do, sir.
And, you know, unfortunately, this is a topic that everybody likes to talk about, whether invited to or not, and people like to comment on it. And, you know, it's almost, I've been told many times that I'm somewhat mysterious and I'm a mystery to people because they just can't understand how someone like me could be single. But it's actually very easy when you sort of break it down.
This is not a diss video. I repeat, this is not a diss video. However, this is not a pity party either. Why?
Why?
Because when these women come online to tell their sob stories about being single and lonely, you don't have to feel sorry for them. Most of the damage is self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. It's not your fault. And that's what these videos are for, to help men understand female nature and protect themselves from falling victim to it. This woman is not under attack. She is under examination. And she subjected herself to this by deciding to tell her story online for the world to see. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if she's Muslim, Christian, or atheist. It doesn't matter what race or country she's from. Women are women first. The same patterns and desires show up across cultures and religions. And the pursuit of high status men is no different. Let's talk about it.
Right, I didn't want this to be the video that I come back to YouTube on after being missing for about 8 years or so, but I feel that it's a topic I need to cover, and I've been wanting to come back to YouTube anyway. I've got lots of topics I want to talk about, and this one unfortunately is one that's always at the forefront of my mind. And I literally had a really bad cry in the shower just about an hour ago. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a video on this because there are other people in my situation. I know I'm not the only one. And I just want to be able to make you feel like you're less alone if you're in the same situation as me.
Do you want to make others feel less alone, or do you want to make yourself feel less alone? Many women come to the internet because they feel lonely and need someone to listen to them. That's why we see an abundance of women crying in their car videos all over the internet. It's therapy for them. The fact that someone will hear and see them is essential for women. This woman, she was crying before even recording this video. Why?
Why?
Because she is a woman. Women are emotional creatures, and venting releases some of the stress they have. You see, I'm not dissing her. Like I always say, focus on the information that's consistent. And this is the information she is giving out. I'm not making this stuff up. Let's take it a step further. Pay attention to this therapy session. We're going to let her talk for a minute and a half.
If you're an auntie or you're an uncle, or you are, you know, you could be a well-wisher. I love you all, but you know, sometimes the comments that people make to people in my situation just don't come across well at all. They can be really upsetting, they can be insulting, they can be offensive. So I thought I'd just make this video just to clarify a few things. And I'm speaking on my own behalf, but possibly on the behalf of other people in my situation as well. So firstly, nobody is going to be fortunate in every single area of their lives. I mean, some people can be, but not everybody is at every moment in their life. So, you know, you'll either have some misfortune in your health, your well-being, your wealth, your career, your personal life. Maybe, you know, something could happen to someone you care about. So, you know, misfortunes are a part of life. And, you know, as a Muslim, I believe that we are tested by loss of health, fruits, lives, and if I missed one, I think I might miss one, wealth. Did I say that one? We are tested by the loss of these things. So, you know, misfortune and the experience of losing something is something that we all experience at some stage in our lives. And for me, you know, this big misfortune in my life, I've had many, but one of the big misfortunes has been that I've not been able to get married.
This is how women calm their souls. Misfortune. One of the big misfortunes she had in life was that she wasn't able to get married. Let's focus on her choice of words. Here's the definition of misfortune. Janice, read.
Misfortune refers to bad luck or an unfortunate event or circumstance. It's typically used to describe situations where things go wrong, leading to negative outcomes. Misfortune can involve accidents, setbacks, or hardships that are often beyond a person's control, such as losing a job, having an illness, or experiencing an accident.
So in other words, she believes not being able to get married is not her fault. It's beyond her control. This is important for women to hear, especially after a good old crying session. It's feel-good Kool-Aid.
Can you make me feel good? Can you make me feel good?
But here's the problem. It's not misfortune when it's predictable. The moment you choose to pursue a specific type of man, one who fits a rare combination of status, income, and attraction, it stops being about bad luck and becomes the predictable result of your choices. Women tell each other what they want to hear to feel good in the moment. But there's a difference between what you want to hear and what you need to hear. In modern times, we need to face the fact that women who aren't getting married today aren't suffering from misfortune. It's the consequence of their selective behavior. Now let's see what she says next. Pay attention.
And, unfortunately, this is a topic that everybody likes to talk about, whether invited to or not, and people like to comment on it. And, it's almost, I've been told many times that I'm somewhat mysterious and I'm a mystery to people because they just can't understand how someone like me could be single. But it's actually very easy when you sort of break it down. And, if you know me as a person, I'm not someone who can force myself to fake something or force myself into anything. I mean, I'm sure during the arranged marriage era, many women, many men would have forced themselves to get together with the person that they're being forced to marry, but that's not me. I can't do it. So that's the first thing, that I can't force myself. And the second thing is that I truly believe that compatibility is key. And for most people, they can detect that at subconscious level. So you don't even have to be very consciously doing it. You will just know if you're matching the energy or you're vibing with someone, whether there is a spark of attraction or any chemistry there or not. You will know that. And usually within minutes of meeting that person.
Women will always tell on themselves. Just let them talk long enough. She's from the UK, where marriage has hit an all-time low since records began in 1887. Marriage peaked around the 1940s and again in 1972, but has been declining ever since. Why?
Why?
Because of exactly what she said. I can't force myself to do anything. The more autonomy women got, the more marriages rates declined and divorce rates increased. She's not looking to marry solely for religion or culture. Romance and chemistry are non-negotiable for her. She wants to feel attracted to her future husband. And here's the thing. We all know the majority of women aren't attracted to the majority of men. When women today say they can't force themselves into a relationship, what they're saying is they're holding out for a man who fits a much narrower ideal. That's where we need to shift the conversation away from misfortune. This isn't about luck anymore. When women aim for the top 10, top 20% of men, the high earners, high status, good-looking guys, the outcome becomes predictable. Most women won't end up with these men because those men are in high demand and have endless options. So when marriage rates drop below 50%, we can't say it's bad luck that women aren't getting married. This is the direct consequence of highly selective behavior.
I've considered people for a longer period of time before, giving it 4 to 6 weeks, for example, and where I've just sort of kept in touch over phone calls, and I've done all of that. I've made a lot of effort because also as a Muslim, we believe that we have to make the effort. It's not just a matter of just making dua and praying for something, but you've actually got to try And I've been trying for a long time, for more than a decade in this area, but obviously, you know, there are restrictions as well. So because I'm Muslim and I'm a practicing Muslim, I couldn't indulge in haram activities in this whole, you know, in this whole process of seeking someone to marry. I could not go on down that road because I believe that that's wrong to do. And that itself is a struggle when you're living in the West, because that's the normal way of doing things. So you kind of, you know, you get a boyfriend or a girlfriend and then you go and you spend a lot of time with them, you even move in together, you travel together, and it's kind of like you're married, you know, before getting married. So was not able to do that, and I don't regret that. Any sacrifices that, it's not really a sacrifice, but like say if it were deemed to be a sacrifice, then I do that for the sake of Allah. And I know that in the long term, there's benefit in adhering to the laws Allah set out in the Quran.
This is why we keep saying, don't bring your woman back home to the West. The reason I keep reminding you this isn't a diss video is because I personally know a few Muslim women like her with great personalities who carry themselves with respect. But they're stuck in the same predicament because they were raised in Western culture. Look at this clip.
But the gist is, congratulations, Mia. Asian women are the most sought after group of people.
Right. As in they got the most
replies.
Right, across all the ethnicity.
Right.
So
and
white
unfortunately for me and Dan,
right,
Asian men in general are on the bottom.
Right. So Asian men, including South Asian and East Asian. So
right.
East Asian meaning Korean, Japanese,
and we'll
Chinese.
just probably the Southeast Asian too. I don't know, but then
Yeah, let's say
probably that's all grouped together.
Yeah, and then South Asian like Indian,
Yeah.
Pakistani, Sri Lankan.
Okay, so you know we're on the bottom of the. No one
Right.
replies back to us.
Attraction is not a choice. These Muslim women I know, they're struggling to date their own men because their men don't rank high on the attraction scale. Pakistani Chad is rare. Growing up, guys like Rajiv didn't get play. He had to compete with Chad and Meanwhile, Muslim women like the ones I know were getting attention from a wide range of men, but most weren't interested in converting to Islam just for them. The result? A history of rejection from the men they wanted. And they're still single because, like this woman in the video says, they can't force themselves to settle for less. One last point before we wrap this up. This woman came back after an 8-year break on her channel. Her content? Helping people with PhDs. This woman is educated, and there's one particular video called How the PhD Changed Me Part 1. Check this out.
I feel that the PhD experience changed me in various different ways, personally, academically, in my way of thinking. I mean, I do definitely feel more like a scientist now, and I think scientists have their own way of thinking. You know, I do talk about being analytical and critical, but in addition to that, you know, you do learn how to be a problem solver. I mean, you learn those with other degrees as well, but I think with a PhD that's amplified.
Now, 21% of women don't want to date a man who is less educated than they are. Janice, read.
Women exhibit greater unwillingness to date partners with lower education or income levels, whereas men tend to be more flexible in these areas. When it comes to dating someone less educated, 21% of women are unwilling, compared to 8% of men.
This is a career woman. She's ambitious, and the man she's looking for needs to be a reflection of her own success and aspirations. He's not just a husband, he's a mirror of the life she envisions for herself. This is why she's aiming for the top 10, top 20% of men. He has to embody success, confidence, and stability, a man who complements her lifestyle and status. But here's the problem. That kind of man is rare, and when women like her can't find him and remain single, they aren't misfortunate. They are simply part of the many women who will never marry a high-status man because the numbers just don't support it. This explains why she was crying before recording the video. Failing to secure a man who meets those high standards leaves her feeling unvalidated. She has spent years crafting her identity around success, education, and independence. But the inability to find a partner who reflects that makes her feel like something is missing. It's not just about love or companionship, it's about validation. Without this man, she doesn't feel as valued, accomplished, or complete. And that's the emotional core behind these tears. It's not about the man himself. It's about what securing him would represent in her life.
So when it will be the right time, obviously I keep on having to make the effort and not just deny someone over a superficial thing like a mole on their face. But you know, as long as I make the effort and I give each person that opportunity to get to know me, if they seem to be somewhat suitable and compatible, then I leave the rest to Allah. And you know, whenever He blesses me, He blesses me.
Man, that's where we work it. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.